conversations, and I think we believe in it because it's real, but we also as administrators have to model that integrity, and failure leads to success. And I know that we've been, there's some times where there's some emotions that are just laid out on the table, and I think that everybody's kind of shared how they feel about some things, but now it's just kind of time to stay professional and find your little spot privately where you need to deal with what you need to deal with. But if we keep saying how bad it is and last year and I can't believe there's no this or no, we won't change. So what I think we need to do is just stay consistent and calm. And I'm trying to do that. And I know she's trying to do that. And my principal might feel differently. Like she and I both probably get on each other's nerves, to be quite honest, because we're both stressed.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we walk out of this building together, we give each other a hug, and we say, we got this. We're going to do our very best. So I think what we have to do with this culture is practice our keys. We have to start recognizing kids. We have to let parents in on it and have that parent meeting where we want parents to come in and see what are we talking about when we teach them about integrity or ownership or communication or respect or whatever the keys are. Because those simple conversations and simple words actually mean a lot. And so we're trying to do that. We have a lot of great ideas that we want to do, and we have to do them. But we really need to be seen. We need to be seen happy. We need to be seen positive. We need to be seen in classrooms, so that culture comes from us. And, a lot of people like you and, some teachers are stepping up with committees. And so those types of things really impress me. Like at our faculty meeting yesterday, I know you have to be on a committee, but for Ms. Treat to just offer what I just felt like everybody with you and the float, like people are doing things aside from what they have to do to try to build some sort of consensus or some sort of activity where we're together, or something that brings us tight and like a family, even though we don't know who's going to stay and who's not going to stay.
Right.
So it is unfair for us to ask everybody to do it for us, but I really do appreciate those that do it. But we have to do more of that. Yeah. We haven't done a team building, Yeah. You did the only team building I feel like on campus.
Yeah.
And so those are things that we have got to sometimes do the dessert first.
Yeah. So now on to the campus improvement plan.
Okay. I didn't even look at my T-test binders, but I love T-test, so I just feel like it is valuable.
I think that for people who value growth and are always seeking it in themselves, it's a easy, natural process.
Yeah.
And when it was introduced to me, I thought, wow, this is going to be great, and then there were people sitting next to me who were
not
having total opposite feelings, and knowing those people.
And and it's like that teacher from last year, lovable and everything.
Yeah.
But really uncovered that she wasn't teaching.
Yeah.
And she really wasn't even knowing her kids with any relationships. She was just getting by. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are some of the initial steps you take as an administrator who is new to a campus in regards to the campus improvement plan? So when you got here, what are some of the first things that you did in regards to the campus improvement plan?
So in regards to the plan, we definitely look at testing data just to see where we are, because that's one of the things TA holds us accountable for, and that's something that is consistent among the states. So we look to see where we rank. So definitely was concerning to be in the lowest average, always below the state average for this grade, for this school, 3rd and 4th, reading, math, and then 4th, writing. So it was interesting because we would look at the 5th grade scores as well, just to see what the difference might be. And 5th grade scores definitely improved, and we don't really know why. And we thought, is it because it's an SSI year and students have to pass in 5th grade STAR, or they repeat it and then they go to summer school? and what are our students getting. And so we talked about this intensive instruction that will happen for students that don't pass during the school year. And we have to implement that. And so we look at how we would do that. The school district doesn't offer summer school to elementary, so that's interesting to me because that's a really big 20-30 day push of catching up with what you may have missed. So I know that they do for certain special needs kiddos, but so it's just really trying to figure out what those state standards are and how for that testing, and how do we get those kids to meet that. What else we look at is staffing. And as you know, being a former interventionist and now then bringing back volunteers to do interventions, it's quite frustrating. You know, the day before school started, our superintendent resigned, who brought a lot of us new administrators on board. So the staffing is a major concern. So we looked at staffing and we're necessarily sure how to staff because we weren't sure what we were allowed to have, and we weren't sure why they took certain things away, but we were told that coaching would be supportive and come to the campus and things like that. So we were still just trying to anticipate how these interventions are going to take place and how teachers are going to have support outside of the administrators on campus.
Right.
And so that's still, we're still not fulfilled in terms of our staffing. There are positions last year, like the library's position, the ILS, what does it stand for?
Innovative Learning Specialist.
Innovative Learning Specialist. So that should have been hired before school was over last year. The position was posted. There was people on campus that wanted it, where we could have transitioned. They could have done that, and then we had the whole summer to build a new teaching team. And then that person could have served as a real big support to teachers on campus.
Right.
So those, after looking at testing scores, staffing is a huge nightmare. And in HR, it's definitely, the HR director took a leave of absence as well at the beginning of the year. And I know people have personal things going on, but he didn't have a backup plan. I mean, they were doing the best they could, but I don't think anybody's as good as him at what he does. So it was hard to replace or protect what he was doing. And a lot of things did not go how they should. People weren't getting paid. I didn't get my days that I'd earned for 12 years, you know. So just to be quite honest, I hope that this doesn't bite me back later, but these are things that affect a school. And if the school is really supposed to run efficiently, then it needs to be the whole piece of the puzzle and everybody contributing. But, you know, and then after staffing, it is that culture piece. You know, are we going to self-contain? Should we still team teach? Well, Ms. Roll really felt that the relationship piece of that culture was missing, because maybe kiddos just needed one teacher and to really just love and trust their teacher, and maybe staying in the same class all day might help. There's lots of different viewpoints on that. If you're an expert in writing and reading, teaching math and science really will be hard. And I mean, as a parent, I'm sure even doing homework for a 3rd or 4th grader in math and science is hard. So, you know, you just have to make hard decisions when you're looking at how to plan the year. So that was a decision that she made based on prior schools that she'd done that with, that she felt it did improve. Because the relationships improved, it improved instruction and improved the planning. And you had to plan because you had new subjects.
Right.
And then I know I should probably say vision first in your campus improvement plan, but I think you kind of need to see what you are looking for before you decide what your vision is. So we just recently recreated the vision with the staff. Well, not really recreated, we changed one word, but we really analyzed it to see what it means and how we can enforce it and what kiddos can do to live it. So you have that, and then after your vision, you're going to want to know who does what. You know, in this campus, we took away team leads, so that was a little confusing for me because I wasn't really sure who was in charge of what or who to ask to do what, and inevitably it fell on somebody anyway. So there was discussion about, do we get stipends still? We don't know, because the administration changed, that came with some underlying budget issues that we didn't know about either. So that's why the interventionist, I believe, has to be a volunteer, not a paid not getting paid for it. So it's kind of things like that. That budget is going to affect a lot of things. But after I said vision, what did I say? Sorry. So we just talked.
The last thing you said.
Okay, we're just that culture. You know, the PBIS thing is big, but before we start giving out tickets and keys and things like that, we really needed to live and breathe the school and see what's going on and make sure it's not being misused. And there's a lot of things that she's trying to do. I'm looking right now at the culture goals that she had for the year. You know, she definitely wants to recognize staff more. She really is big on student work being displayed in the hallways, and and they do love it. Even the kids that, if I pull them out for discipline, they go straight to the work in the hallway and say, "Look what I did."
Yeah.
And just we have a new choir teacher, but sure would be nice to have some choir, you know, performances and things like that. But she's working a lot at the high school with her honor choir, so I think that's good that when she gets the ground rolling, you know.
Yeah.
Art and all that, that's a situation for sure, because our art teacher wasn't able to handle the demographics or the non-processes. And she wasn't able to meet those kids on a daily basis and get to know them. She saw them once a week, and so she didn't know them, and she had her own things going on. So having art being gone is a back step in terms of how we plan for the campus and the campus improvement plan. But the campus improvement plan, I really love that what you already guys had in place was your PLCs. I don't know how they worked before now, but I like that intimate time. Even if I'm not in there, at least the principal's in there, and you guys can really get one-on-one with her to talk about things and make changes. And it's a whole day of planning. Yeah. And so I really think that's something I would like with her, an hour a week. Yeah. But I don't even get that unless we're doing an investigation. But I think, you know, we just have to do the stuff that's the fun stuff. Yeah. And we'll get overwhelmed, but we have to do that. And recruiting is huge in your campus improvement plan. And she had more staff to hire than came back. Right. So I think she hired 17 maybe, and 17 new people in 3 weeks. When she got hired, she had 3 weeks till school started. Really was just, and sometimes it feels like if you were breathing, you could come here and work, you know? Right. Yeah. And it's just her being by herself. I wasn't able to start till 3 days before the teachers started. So the principal being on her own, not having any support or any understanding or know anything about the campus or the culture of the city, and just hiring, it's definitely bit us in the butt. And she knows it, but I would have done the same thing she did. I don't think anything she could have done differently other than put subs in there. Right. And so that hiring, it's just too many new people with too many bad habits or too many non-habits. Yeah. Caused her to kind of change the campus improvement plan. We need coaches on campus. We need a behavior person on campus, you know. And so she just went talking and telling her story, and we got those 3 staff members permanently, but we're still hiring. So the other thing is the needs of a consistent, what we discovered was a consistent either database or lesson planning resource. You know, we all know that we have science and math consumables, and we all don't, and unless you have some sort of real documented lesson plan to follow, you're just going to follow the TE in the book every day, and many teachers are doing that. Not that those textbooks don't serve a purpose and have a okay plan, but any teacher knows to really get to your kids, there's some things you do by learning, or you have somebody say, no, we're going to do this lesson, it's really, and you're like, how would I even created that lesson? That's so neat how you did that, and somebody helping you and things like that. So we need resources, we need warm-ups, we need practice. There's the lesson planning is needing to be consistent. We need a database. We have Eduphoria Forethought. You could actually, when you click on your lesson plan and you click on the enter the TEKS what you're doing, when you click on that TEKS, a database of lesson plans can be right there, and you're like, oh, which one do I want to do? That one, and you click on it, and these are all what the district should be putting in. Like we would hire people to write lesson plans and scan in what resources go with them, and that goes with